This is the opening to the title story, Ivan and Misha. It's set about 10 years ago, if any of the technology is a little off. Ivan calls at 3. Meet me at the Odessa, he says. 30 minutes. You won't regret it. I've got this idea. But, I say, I'm standing naked, water dripping in a circle on the white carpet, me in the center. But first, Ivan, where are you? Geography is not a minor detail with my Ivan. He's a little bit bipolar and drives a cab. He is fearless and can go anywhere with a customer. Newark, Hoboken, Harlem, Philadelphia, Poughkeepsie. To him, they're all the same. And his mind takes ideas and travels to places I cannot reach. He schemes for riches to share with me. He has dreams of a better world for all mankind, which is wonderful, but twice they have taken him to Bellevue, and once he was found shot and left for dead in front of the Brooklyn Museum. When Ivan bleeds, so do I. When we were young and living in Kiev, our father would say, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, tapping each of us in turn on the head with his gold-plated fountain pen. So last year, Ivan bought me a new cell phone to calm my fears. To this one, only he has the number. We're fraternal twins, me and Ivan. Fraternal for the most part, although once I went 6 months without talking to him. Not an easy thing to do. Maybe it's because he's all I've got by way of family. There's our father, Louis, but Louis had a stroke last year, and he's more often playing pinochle in the Kiev cafe, arguing Gorbachev than in New York City, planet Earth. He's more like a moving, talking memorial to the guy we once loved, something holographic, so when you put your arms around him for a hug, you're stuck hugging yourself. Smith's sitting at the kitchen table. He shoots me a sidelong glance. Smith's family, but of a more uncertain kind. He's been studying details for a new look while deconstructing a croissant. Smith was Robbie Dodsworth from Michigan's Upper Peninsula when I met him last year. Every few months he puts on a new persona and a new name. This summer it's Philip Marlowe meets the vampire Lestat. I indulge him because he's barely 19. At 23, I feel waist deep in the muddy swamp of maturity. Smith licks his fingers and brushes the remaining crumbs onto the floor. He's passive-aggressive and plays on my fear of roaches and water bugs. He pushes his plate away, then slowly turns the page of his magazine. He wiggles his chair and the linoleum squeaks. Stay home is in his every gesture, but Ivan plays on something deeper in me. Where are you? I ask again. His voice fades, lost in static. His cab is passing under steel or concrete. Pickup for 2, Sheets at Bay, headed Kennedy. The radio dispatcher's voice filtered through Ivan's phone. Then Ivan fades back in. Near Z, between X and Z. First, I think, he's given up a lucrative airport job for me in his new scheme. Then, did he check in on Louis? Louis lives in an apartment in Brighton, just past Avenue Z. But if you could map his mind, he's way past Z. Past the Belt Parkway, past New York Harbor and Liberty Statue, across the Atlantic, and far away in a place we left long ago. They called it a mini-stroke. Mini means he's lost no more than 10% of his mind. It means he has his good days and days his mind opens to greet the morning like a door with rusty hinges, liable to get stuck in the oddest places. Just last Sunday, I was off to buy bagels and the Times and found him sitting on a park bench feeding pigeons. Hello, my handsome American son, he said. His clear brown eyes gazed sweetly at me as if we'd shared a private joke. He speaks Russian now with an American accent he's picked up like lint on a fine dark coat. He could pass for an exiled scholar in New York for a conference on particle physics or the semiotics of Turgenev. But he was wearing an overcoat on a summer morning, and it tore at my heart to see him feeding pigeons, dressed for the wrong season. Still, it was a nicely tailored overcoat, gray charcoal, silk lapels, well cut at the wrists and knees. His yellow tie had a coffee stain in the shape of Florida, but he's had a good haircut, his beard's been trimmed, and he's arrived unharmed. How did you get here, I asked. I came, he said. Isn't that enough? I took him home for breakfast, where he joined me and Smitty. He smeared cream cheese on his bagel and picked out a small slice of lox. Take more, Smith said amiably, sliding plated onions across the table. They're a mutual love fest, those two. My Misha, he said to Smith in English. He looks just like his mother. He says this to Smith each time he sees us, as if for the first time, or I've begun to fear for the last. He did not ask about Ivan. Ask about Ivan too, I said to myself. Ask about Ivan, Papa. Don't let me down, Mish, Ivan says. Then the sound of static brings me back to being wet, naked, and making the decision not to tell Smith I'm meeting Ivan. I plan a peck on Smith's shaved head. I'll do groceries, I say. He licks his fingers and growls. I arrive at the Odessa early, but Ivan's already there. His cab is parked out front on Avenue A with its Ivan the Terrific plates. Orthodox icons and the Star of David dangle from the rearview mirror. Ivan's grabbed the boot from the back. He's wearing a white silk shirt, long sleeve, buttoned to the neck, around which is tied a red bandana. Looking at me and Ivan, you'd never even take us for distant relations. He's a head shorter. He fidgets like he's a lamp plugged into an unreliable wall socket giving off sparks. I'm quiet, watchful. Smith says I move like a tree, a big Michigan oak. Ivan has olive skin, long straight black hair, and dark brown eyes that grow wide when he's selling me on an idea. Misha, he'll say, preternaturally still, this one will set us up. I mean, set us up for life. He makes me feel like I'm jilting a lover when I turn down one of his schemes. To look at him, he's just like Louis, the dark hair, the olive skin, the long, sharply angled nose, and like Louis, a seducer, a gambler. Ivan was born 20 minutes before me, and our mother died just hours after I eased out. Died in childbirth, as they say, leaving just the three of us. Once when we were 7, Ivan in a rage blamed me for her death. You came last, he said, if it weren't for you. I look a lot like her. Blonde hair, round face, high cheekbones. I know this from old photos. In them, she's a chameleon. Shy, coquettish, maternal, angry, sad. It's all expressed in her mouth. Her name was Sonia. In my favorite picture, she stands in front of a field of wheat. It's late summer. She has the look of serenity. I believe that one to be her true self. Phone booths, Ivan says. Phone booths? What about phone booths, I ask. A crowd huddles in the front by the restaurant's entrance, waiting for a break in the rain. Their hushed attention to the weather, soaking up the buzz of voices. A cathedral of quiet shelters me and Ivan. He is so beautiful that I fight an urge to run my fingers through his hair. Misha, he purrs, we each put $5K down and own a string of 200 of those classy old English phone booths. I groan. No, really, he says, they're money makers, guaranteed cash flow. Ivan leans in towards me and cups my hands in his. His skin is soft and warm. Misha, he says, this can't go wrong.